Hi, old guy here. More ramblings. We're going to talk about staying cool. Over the years, I've used various methods to stay cool. I grew up with cars with wind wings, so you could turn the wind wing and face it toward you. I drove 30 years before I ever had an air conditioned car. When I used to go to the river or the desert where my dad lived in my VW Bug, I carried an ice chest in the back seat. I would throw towels in it with ice and everything and water. And so when it got hot, I would take a towel, granted a hand towel or something, and I'd put it around my head and I'd put a band on it and I'd drive. As long as my head stayed cool, I stay cooled. I used that for years. It was kind of bulky and ice chest was bigger and not that convenient. And plus I got air conditioned car. When I found myself going to the junkyard and it's hot out during the summer, I realized it's probably hotter somewhere else than it is in California. I looked at my welding friends and they were wearing skull caps. And what it's designed to do is when you're wearing a welding helmet, it keeps the sweat away from your face, and it also provides a way to keep the band from the welding helmet digging into your head all the time. I like that idea. So if you go on the various welding websites, some of the companies sell little skull caps. They carry various types. They're designed for that reason. Now, you have the ones where people call them for cooling. And yeah, they cool to a certain extent. Okay, so this is called a tough noogie, and that's the ones we're talking about today. And you just throw it on your head, and even no matter what you're wearing, the less hair you got, the better it works. But it absorbs the sweat around your face and keeps you from running down into your eyes. The other thing about it is that if you get a little bit of air, that sweat will cool and it'll keep your head cooler. But I go beyond that. I like this idea. I mean, it fits underneath a hard hat. It fits under a straw hat. Now, these straw hats are getting hard to find with the holes. I like that because then the air can go through. I use these with cold water. When I go to the junkyard or I'm working outside, maybe you've got a little ice chest. Now, unfortunately, Coleman doesn't make this anymore, but I think Igloo does. And you've got your water in there, but at the same time, this ice is melting, and I have my tough noogie in there. I wring out the excess water, and I remember this is ice cold. And I put it on my head. Oh, that feels so good. Now, gradually, it will dry out. It does, but I have ice and water right here. So a half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour later when it dries out, I just do it again. And like I said, it fits underneath my straw hat and it fits underneath my hard hat and it keeps me cool. Now, this one's called a wave, probably because it's an American flag and the American flag waves. They have other colors. They call this flames. They call this one jungle flange, flash, Flage, obviously cameo, cowboy blue. Probably because it kind of looks like the bandanas from years ago. You've got the motorcycle one. They just call this motorcycle, and I'm sure it's designed to match some of the jackets and stuff that motorcycle riders wear, Harley guys. You've got black. It's just plain old black. And then you've got a navy blue. So you have 7 different colors. Now, Tough Noogies describes this. Let's see how they describe this. It's called Allstate. By the way, this is called the Tough Noogie TN5. It's basically all cotton, 100% cotton. Now, they say it's just cotton. It's not made in the United States, made in China. But there's other companies that sell this if you're looking for an American product. But anyway, so it's all made out of cotton. The edge is doubled up cotton. It has a little tail in the back. And then if you want to, you can tie it off so it doesn't go anywhere if you want to. Okay, I just leave mine loose because they fit my head fairly decently. Anyway, that's basically what a TN5 is. Now, they also make a TN6, and they're all the same colors. This is a TN6. The only difference between these is the tail's a little longer, and it has this headband in it, and this is elastic. So when you put it on your head, you just do the elastic band. Sorry, that's in the way. The elastic band, and you pull it down like you would this one. Okay, I'm not a real fan of this. It's kind of loose. The band isn't real tight. I suppose that's a plus or a minus. But the other thing that bothered me is if I soak this, I don't think this elastic band would last all that long. So I'll stick with my TN5. Now they make another one. This is called a TD 201. Okay? It has a neck cover on it to protect your neck while you're out. That's kind of nice. I feel like it's a little big for me, but that's okay. It has the ties, so you can tie it, and the back to hold it. It protects your neck. But this is polyester. I don't know how well it would absorb water. Now, on this one here, they have a little more description. Extended neck shade. It's UPF 50 plus. Well, I think the others are more than that. 1 minute activation. I do not know what that means. You're supposed to be able to pop it or something like that, and it makes it cooler. I don't know. They say it's 30% cooler than your skin. It's antimicrobial, so it won't cause bacteria. I've never had that. I wear these things all the time, and I've never had bacteria on my head. But I like these. They're simple. They're easy to wear. Now, it costs you less than $10. This one here, I've been using it for 15 years. When I wear it a few times, I throw it in the washing machine. Next time it's clean. So I have like a couple of them that I do. Now I'm going to show you a couple of things where I'm not a real fan. Now, you can buy a hat like this. They call it a cooling hat. It wicks the sweat off your forehead and stuff, and it has the neck shape. But after it gets used for a while, and you start getting sweat bands, sweat shows up, and this is bound to be dirty. Okay, how do you wash this and keep its shape? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. If you got a comment, put it in the comments. Now, there's other hats out there. There come out some really interesting stuff lately. First off, you have this. This is a cowboy hat, and it's got a fan in it. Now, I don't know how it operates. It has a battery probably somewhere, or maybe it's solar powered. How long the fan lasts, I don't know. And the thing is, you're wearing this hat, and you're blowing this cool air in there, right? Well, yeah, it blows on your head, but where's the air go? I mean, this is around your head, so it's blowing in here, but it blows on the top of your head, but there's no way for it to ventilate. Now you got this one. This one's kind of cool. This one it has solar fans on the hat. And as you can see, they're angled, so they blow at your face. And this is supposed to keep you cool along with the wide brim hat. But depending upon what those weigh, after a while, it seems to me that these solar fans would sag, and then the brim of your hat's in front of your face. Now, the next one I don't understand at all. Now, why would you use that solar fan and then put a gaiter in front of your face? You're not getting anything. If anything, all you're doing is suffocating. So I don't understand the whole idea behind the solar fans and the gaiter. Maybe that's just me. We went to the junkyard a while back. We pulled an engine, and it was for my friend Peter. But Peter doesn't have any hair. He shaves his head. And his head was frying in the sun. So I gave him mine because it protected his head. And I just wore my straw hat. So when I came home, I took one to him next time I saw him, gave him a brand new one. The TN5s like this come in 7 colors. The TN6, which has this sweatband and the elastic back, is not real tight. This is brand new. Never wore it. Not a real fan. This one could be interesting. I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll report back in another video. But like I said, it's polyester, and I don't think polyester absorbs water as well or retains water as well as cotton. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is that these don't have to be used wet. When I'm doing a track day, I use one underneath my helmet. That way, I don't get all the padding all soaked with sweat, grime, grease, and stuff like that. It protects the top. Yeah, you're going to get some on the face just because of the way the helmet's designed. But I wear it in my helmet. It works real well. I'll take the 914 to a little car gathering or something. It's 1973. It didn't have air conditioning. Some of them had it. Most didn't. It doesn't have wind wings that actually move, that turn in. So if the top's on, it's a little bit warmer. I take my little ice chest with me. I'm taking water to drink. I'm taking a Coke to drink, and I have it filled up with stuff. But it melts. I may even put a little bit of water in it. So I'm going to a meet. I'm wearing this. The wind's coming in from the open windows, and it's actually keeping me cool. That's about all I got. Oh yeah, I've got one thing left. We have to talk about the frozen grapes, don't we? That I had in my thumbnail. I suppose that was probably the clickbait. So the last thing we got is the frozen grapes. Frozen grapes. When you buy them, you put them in a little container, you throw them in the freezer. Now you would think, and I thought this before I tried it, these things would get as hard as an ice cube. Well, they don't. Because there's cells in there and there's moisture in there, it does not get as hard. You pop one of these into your mouth, you can instantly chew on it. But it's cold. It's ice cold. And it tastes like a grape. And it just cools you off. Anyway, so this is what I do. You don't have to.